Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are as well.
I am. You want that reset date?
That would be nice. Thank you.
September the 10th.
September 10th is the SAP reset date. Thank
Yes.
you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's not at 2 yet. We'll get started as soon as courtroom 2 gets on at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Hey, Miss Bridgewater.
Mr. McLean, how are you?
Good. I got a form from Michael Jordan on Friday afternoon for that thing we were talking about, so I'll get that in tonight.
Thank you.
You
Did
bet.
you work Saturday?
I didn't officially work Saturday. I did come in and push
Okay.
paper.
I have a question about a case that was on for Saturday.
Oh, who is it?
Davis? No. Yeah. Kevin Davis?
Was that the one that was on Friday?
I believe so. They say the judge entered a bond amount.
Yeah, what happened was on Friday, there was a waiver knowing that the bond would be set anyway. And they put it on Saturday just to be sure, just to ask him because he wasn't present.
Okay, I see Mr. Cook on. So, Mr. Cook, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yes.
So I see Judge Williams signed this order. So are we good to go on this?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, because it's on today's calendar. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Who is it again?
Kevin Davis.
Okay. Yeah, actually I had some questions about that. I know that's the fellow that had the battery in the jail, I think. What was it? I'm sorry. I just got on. What was the order again?
He was charged with a simple battery
Okay.
and he received a $2,000 good bond.
Okay.
And I show that Judge Williams signed the order on Saturday. However, he's on today's calendar.
Oh no, I think that's a mistake then. Yeah, I think that order's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Cook, the issue with that case was it was on for Friday and it was reset on Saturday because you had to leave to go to an appointment before.
Oh, okay. I thought I had finished my cases. I
It
apologize.
was a waiver and you didn't submit a waiver.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, I guess we'll get going as soon as courtroom 2 is ready.
So how was everybody's weekend?
Amazing.
Good.
Good
Was that-
afternoon.
Afternoon, Norris. How are you today?
Wonderful, sir. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Thank you. Good afternoon. Are you ready for me to go, Norris?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. If you have any objections to your case being held by video, please let me know when you come before me. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender today if you choose to utilize their services. Who do we have first?
This is position number 6, Ms. Gomez.
Good afternoon, Ms. Gomez. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005996F with battery family violence. Let's see, Ms. Jackson, good afternoon. Is there a history?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Just a moment, let me pull it, please. All right, she does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. McCockey.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place July 11th, 2024. The victim in this case is Bruce Johnson, who is the ex-boyfriend of the defendant. The defendant and her daughter, Katrina Scriven, were trying to gain entry into the victim's brother's house. The victim had been staying at his brother's house due to the constant arguing between him and the defendant. When the victim tried to stop the parties from gaining entry, he was tased by a black stun gun or taser and sustained a laceration on his right elbow as he fell back from the taser. We have had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Johnson, who stated that he was in a relationship with the defendant. They no longer live together and they share no children. He confirmed the events in the warrant, stated this is the first time this has happened. They have had arguments in the past, but it has never gotten physical until the day of the incident. The victim stated he's not in fear of the defendant, and he's okay with contact, but he wants her to stay away from the residence, the incident location, which I have as 2247 Springdale Road, Southwest Atlanta. The state's recommendation, given our conversation with the victim and the defendant's limited criminal history, is a signature bond, stay away from the incident location, no further violent contact with the victim, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Bruce Johnson.
Mr. Bruce Johnson is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Who's representing Ms. Gomez?
That's Keith Cook, Your Honor. We have no objection to the state's recommendation.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Cook.
Good
Let's
afternoon.
see. As such, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Bruce Johnson. Stay away from the Springdale Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Gomez.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 2, Mr. Anthony Cabral.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cabral. You've been charged in case 24CR005992G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 3 cycles. The last arrest was February the 19th, 2022 for simple battery, and that was in Sandy Springs, Georgia. He does not have any convictions listed in the GCIC. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJRA level 2. Nothing in addition.
Yes, Ms. McCockey.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place August 25th, 2024. The victim in this case is Aaron Spink, who currently lives in the same residence as the defendant. The defendant is accused of grabbing the victim by her arms and hitting her in the head multiple times with a closed fist. Officers observed that the victim's shirt was ripped upon making contact with her, and she also had a contusion on her right bicep. Our office has had a chance to speak with Ms. Erin Spink, who stated that her and the defendant are no longer in a relationship, but they do live together at the incident location and they share no children. She stated this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her. She had to call the police on him the night before, but no arrests were made. She also had to call the police about 3 weeks ago, but no arrests were made at that time either. She stated she does not want any contact with the defendant and wants him to stay away from the residence. The state's recommendation is going to be a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Aaron Spink, stay away from the incident location, which I have as 806 Adair Lane, Sandy Springs, anger awareness, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Spink.
If Ms. Spink is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client has lived here about 2 years. He works as for Hilton Hotel, and then he also is a chef. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. They have been living together. She is more of a friend and a co-worker than in any kind of romantic relationship. But he completely denies any battery regarding this client. And beyond that, we would seek and it's actually his home. I don't know how long she's been living there. We would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate, and we would object to a stay away. We have no problem with a no further contact.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Ms. Spink. Stay away from the 806 Adele Lane address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Yo,
Good
I
to you, sir.
talk. Why are you talking? I'm not trying to reset.
Mr. Cook, your client has his hand up.
Sir, I would not speak at this point. You've got a signature bond. There's really nothing further you could do to help yourself. Might be able to do a lot to harm yourself at this point. You're going to get out on your signature, and then you can begin addressing the remaining issues in front of you, and as far as this case is concerned.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 3, Mr. John Carr. Carr, come on, pay attention.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carr. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0059993J with theft by shoplifting and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 3 cycles. The last arrest was July the 31st, 2024, with the City of Atlanta Police Department for theft by shoplifting and criminal trespassing. He does appear to be on probation in Fulton County for theft by shoplifting and criminal trespassing. That case number is 24 CR 005372 and the letter J. That disposition date was August the 15th, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. Also, he appears to have an open case pending in Lithonia, Georgia, for misdemeanor theft by shoplifting. And there are no convictions listed in the GCIC, Your Honor. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 25th, 2024 at the Macy's located at Lenox Mall. The defendant is accused of shoplifting 2 rings valued at $61.20 from that Macy's. He had previously been given a criminal trespass from the location on July 12th, 2024. Given that the defendant has 2 open cases for theft by shoplifting from this year, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond. Stay away from Lenox Mall. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Cook.
Your Honor, we have no objection to the stay away, and the no drugs, alcohols, weapon. But the other cases are indeed open. No convictions there. So we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Do you have a place to stay, Mr. Cook?
Yes, he's given me an address, Your Honor. Seems to be a good address, a family address.
For the theft by shoplifting, it would be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from Lenox Mall, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, Mr. Carr.
That's fine. No towards the door.
Who do we have next?
Next, we're going to go to position number 5, Mr. Darius Foster.
Good afternoon, Mr. Foster. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0059955C with 2 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 2 cycles. The last arrest was May the 5th, 2024, out of Newton County for misdemeanor obstruction of an officer. And that case appeared to be still pending, Your Honor. It does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition.
Becky?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 25th, 2024. The incident location is 5401 Old National Highway in South Fulton. The victim in this case is Khalifa Johnson, who lives at the same residence as the defendant. Officers arrived at the incident location at approximately 2 a.m. and heard someone inside the residence screaming for help. When no one responded to them, the officers kicked the door in and saw the victim sitting on the couch, and the defendant appeared to come from the powder room. The victim advised that she did not want to make a report, but officers did observe an abrasion on her face and also one on her neck that was consistent with being strangled. Her ear was also bleeding. The victim stated that the defendant had caught her texting another man, so he grabbed her by the mouth and squeezed it very hard. Our office has had a chance to speak with the victim, Ms. Khalifa Johnson, who states that the parties are in a relationship. She stated that they don't live together and they share no children. The victim stated that the incident location is her residence and the defendant just visits from time to time. She stated that they have lived together in the past, and she did confirm the events in the warrant, but did not remember if the defendant placed his hands around her neck. She stated that the defendant has never been violent with her in the past, and that she is not in fear of him and wants no violent contact. The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond on each count of battery, no further contact to allow some more time for a cooling off period, stay away from the victim's residence, again to allow for a cooling off period, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol, anger awareness for the defendant, and I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Khalifa Jordan.
Khalifa Jordan is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. Not sure exactly what the relationship is here. It may be boyfriend, girlfriend. Miss,
If I can speak. Speak up. I can speak. Speak up.
So who is this? Is this Miss Khalifa Jordan?
Jordan.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you activate your camera for me, ma'am? I apologize, Mr. Cook. Would you like to hear from Miss Jordan?
that's fine. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Jordan, if you would like to address the court, I need for you to raise your right hand.
Tell me what happened and tell them the truth.
Okay, whoever that is in the background, they need to stop talking to you, okay? So I'm not sure who that is, but I'm talking to you, Miss
My
Jordan. If you want to address the court, raise your right hand for me.
It's my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
he doesn't live with me. You guys said that he
Okay,
lived.
you didn't listen to me, Miss Jordan. Raise your right hand for me.
I apologize. I
Do you
didn't hear
swear,
that.
do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
He doesn't live with me. We don't live together. We don't go out anymore. We're not together.
You don't want to have him around you anymore?
You got and he choked me. He did.
Okay, did you hear my question? Okay, I need for your
No, I
father to
didn't.
I need,
can't.
what's your father's name? What's your dad's
Jordan.
Okay,
Her name
Mr.
is Khalifa Jordan.
Okay, I hear you back there, Mr. Jordan. I need to talk to your daughter, okay? I can't talk to her while you are behind her talking to her. So let me ask her the questions and let her answer my questions. Do you understand me?
I hear you.
Thank you. All right. So what do you want to tell me, Miss Jordan? Do you not want to have any more contact with Mr. Foster?
Sure, no, and yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about the incident?
No, you guys know everything else.
Okay. Ms. McCockey, you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for being here, Miss Jordan. I appreciate it. Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 24 years old. He has lived in the area his entire life. He works currently at McDonald's. Given his the lack of a record, he does not. They don't live together, at least not at this point. He has no problem with a stay away or no further contact, and we would be seeking, therefore, a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Okay, for each battery, it'll be a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, will be level 2. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Jordan. Stay away from the Old National Highway address, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Foster. You also, Ms. Jordan. We have next.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 8, Mr. Lorenzo Holsey. And do we have a Spanish interpreter, Your Honor, today?
I don't see one on the line as of yet. Let me see. Are we gonna have a Spanish interpreter this afternoon?
I'm trying to get someone from the translation station, Judge. All the normal interpreters were not available this afternoon. So hopefully I'll know something by 2:30.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Okay, this is Mr. Halsey, position number 8. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Halsey. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005997J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jordan? Ms. Jackson, excuse me.
Okay, he has 21 cycles, Your Honor. The last arrest was August the 15th, 2023, the City of Atlanta Police Department for 3 counts of battery family violence and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree and simple battery. That case appeared to be still pending, Your Honor. That case number is 24 CR 005751 and the letter J. He does have prior felony convictions. One in 2018 for possession of cocaine. One in 2006 for theft by receiving stolen property. One in 2005 out of Gwinnett County for entering an automobile. He does have misdemeanor convictions. One in 2021 out of Clayton County for driving while license suspended or revoked. One in 2014 out of Perry County for driving while license suspended or revoked. Nothing in addition, Your Honor. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Taki?
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to bring to your attention that the defendant also has a 2017 arrest for false imprisonment. It looked like time had expired on that. The 2014 arrest for simple battery family violence and a probation violation. It looks like time expired on that as well. And a 2012 battery family violence arrest where time again had expired. This incident occurred August 3rd, 2024. The victim in this case is Laura Phillips, who shares children with the defendant. The defendant found text messages between the victim and her ex-boyfriend, became upset, pushed the victim in the face with an open hand. When the victim tried to run, the defendant grabbed her shirt, which caused her to sustain scratches to her face and chest. Her office has had a chance to speak with Ms. Phillips, who stated that her and the defendant are no longer in a relationship. They no longer live together, but they do share 2 children. She confirmed the events in the warrant, stated the defendant has never been violent with her in the past. The victim stated that she called the police on him before, but it was only for a verbal argument. She stated they have had contact since this incident and there has been no violence since. She stated that she is not in fear of him and wants to continue contact. The state's recommendation, given the defendant's history, is a $3,000 surety bond. Given our conversation with the victim at this time, we will be recommending no further violent contact with the victim, but the defendant needs to be aware what no further violent contact means. We are also recommending anger awareness, again, given the history that he has and the facts in this case, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Laura Phillips.
Okay, before I do that, do you have the bond on that 2023 case for me? Or can you get that for me?
Yes, I can get that for you, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Thank you. see Ms. Laura Phillips on the line. Ms. Phillips, if you would like to address the court, you certainly do not have to, but if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you choose to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. It doesn't appear that she would like to address the court. Who's representing Mr. Halsey?
That's me, Your Honor, Keith Cook.
Yes, Mr. Cook.
My client is 38 years old. He's been in the state, in the city his entire life. He works for KFC. He's been doing that for about a year. We have no objection, obviously, to the no further violent contact and any anger management course that is appropriate. We would be seeking the signature bond at level 2 or 3, Your Honor.
Yes, and do you have that bond for me?
Still looking at it. I don't see it in case manager. So I am still trying to find it.
So you don't know if it's the same victim or not?
Oh, I can check that. Let me just look at the accusation. I don't believe it is the same victim, but let me confirm by looking at the accusation.
What's the case number you're looking at?
Oh, the
Can you give
case
me the
number
Jordan?
is 24 CR 005751J.
Ms. Phillips, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, if you'd like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I basically want to say, I never meant for him to be in jail for the situation. I was just scared at the time of the situation of what happened, and when the officer did come, he asked me did I want to press charges, and I told him I didn't, but he told me that he still had to take pictures of me and stuff, but we never had no situation like this. Like, I never wanted him to be in jail for this situation.
Has this happened before?
No, sir, it never, like, we never had this in the past, because I would have called the police then. Like, if he ever put his hand on me, I would have called the police then. Like, we never had this situation at all.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Phillips. I appreciate it.
And it's not the same victim, Your Honor, as the 2023 case.
As such, it'll be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Laura Phillips, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Halsey. You also, Ms. Phillips. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, what level was that? I apologize.
You're fine. $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3.
And how much anger awareness?
1.
Oh, thank you.
Has
Okay.
anybody reached their Spanish interpreter? We're in courtroom 1 waiting.
Okay, we don't have a Spanish interpreter on the line as of yet. We're trying to find one for this afternoon. As soon as we do, we'll make sure that we let you know, okay?
Your Honor, and just to correct the record, I guess Friday I did leave prematurely. I thought I had done Mr. Davis, but I did in fact file a waiver on him, and it doesn't affect what's happened today. But I just wanted to make sure that I only goofed up halfway.
Okay, so my understanding is that Mr. Kevin Davis, position number 4, has been before the court on this last weekend. He received a $2,000 good bond. You needed to file a waiver. Apparently you've done that, so we don't need Mr. Davis for court this afternoon. Is that correct?
Yes, I filed it about 10:59 Friday morning.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Who do we have next?
Your Honor, can we go to ACDC and do position number 10, Ms. Charity Kent?
Okay.
She's over there. Charity Kent, come to the chair.
Have someone to unmute her? Okay, Ms. Kent, you just raise your hand if you need to speak with me. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005999Y with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. She has 2 cycles. The last arrest was April the 20th, 2023 in Fulton County for simple battery family violence. That case appeared to be pending. The case number is 23 CR 00251 5 and the letter Y. I think that makes this a real restricted offense, Your Honor. In addition to that, she has an outstanding hold, appear to have an outstanding hold out of Marietta, Georgia, for a failure to appear. The date on that warrant is January the 12th, 2024. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred August 23rd, 2024. The defendant is accused of punching the victim, Bianca Brown, in the face, causing the victim's nose to bleed. The defendant states that she was acting in self-defense as the victim physically attacked her first. Officers did note 3 shattered front windows. The defendant told officers that the victim had broken those windows. A witness to this incident, Alexandra Sims, who is a friend of the victim, stated that there was a fight, but she did not see who initiated it. Officers did note that the victim was intoxicated at the time. The victim, Ms. Bianca Brown, was also arrested. She was charged with criminal damage to property 2nd degree and also simple battery. I believe she appeared on felony first appearance. The state's recommendation is going to be a $1,500 surety bond, no further contact with Bianca Brown, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client's has lived in the area 21 years. She does deny that she was the primary aggressor. Apparently, the alleged victim, Ms. Brown, was the one who kicked out the windows. I did notice that she was arrested on the same day, but several hours later. She's not in this calendar, but I understand, obviously we now understand she was in felony court. We would be asking, given the limited history, we would be asking for a signature bond, have no problem with a stay away or no further contact.
I believe the residence is Ms. Kent's residence, so that's why we did not ask for a stay away.
Okay, I'm sure. I understand.
It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Brown, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Kent.
Next, y'all, we're gonna go to position number 12, Mr. McNair.
Good afternoon. This is Mr. McNair at courtroom 2.
That is correct.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. McNair. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006002Y with simple battery and battery. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 21 cycles. The last arrest was October the 21st, 2019 in Fulton County for battery, family violence, and simple battery, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. He does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for those charges. That case number is 19 SC 171368. He does have prior felony convictions, one in 2010 for robbery, one in 2009 out of Clayton County for aggravated assault, and he does have misdemeanor convictions, one in 2020 out of Clayton County for simple battery family violence, one in 2019 out of Clayton County for reckless conduct. one in 2016 for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and he received a nolo contendere sentence in 2015 out of Clayton County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And he received a nolo contendere sentence in 2009 out of Clayton County for battery family violence. There was one in 2008. He received a nolo contendere sentence out of Clayton County for battery. And there was a conviction in 2008 for disorderly conduct, Your Honor. Although those charges are very restricted, he was recommended for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Cocky.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 3rd, 2024, at 4735 Jonesboro Road in Union City. The defendant is accused of assaulting 2 Walmart employees. He pushed Grantville Okong in his forehead, causing a bleeding scratch, Your Honor. When Jaden Barber, another employee, tried to break up the altercation, which was taking place in the restricted area of the Walmart, the defendant pushed him. The incident was caught on security cameras. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with Jaden Barber, one of the victims, who stated that the defendant came into their department where customers are not allowed and began acting aggressive towards his coworkers. He stated that he does not know the defendant and does not know why the defendant was acting this way. Mr. Barber stated that he wants no contact and wants the defendant to stay away from the property. Given the defendant's numerous arrest cycles, including several violent convictions, the state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond on the battery, $1,000 surety bond on a simple battery, no further contact with the victims, stay away from that incident location, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for both victims, Mr. Grantville Okong and Mr. Jaden Barber.
Either of those gentlemen are on the line and wish to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client has lived in the area his entire life, 34 years. He does work for Walmart, a delivery service through Walmart. His position is that the alleged victims attacked him. And he was arrested actually quite a few weeks after this happened at Walmart. We have no problem with the stay away or no further contact. We would be asking the court to accept the pretrial recommendation of a level 3.
Okay, for the simple battery, it'll be a $500 good bond. For the battery, it'll be a $1,500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim, stay away from the Walmart on Jonesboro Road, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Cook, your client has his hand up.
If you have a question about the bond, that's fine, but don't go into details of the case. You could just incriminate yourself. So just briefly, Mr. McNair.
I'm not trying to incriminate myself. I don't got no open case for no family violence in 2019 for Fulton County. I ain't never been locked up in 2019 for no domestic violence in Fulton County. So y'all need to go check that out first and say I got an open case, because I ain't never been locked up in 2019 in Fulton County for no domestic violence. Can y'all go look at that?
Can you pull that case, Mr. Cocky?
I'm pretty sure. See, that was Clayton.
Hold on, Mr. McNair. Hold on. So,
Yes, I can look for it. Does pretrial still have that case number?
it's 19 SC 171368.
19 SC 171368.
Is that right, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I see that as a possession of a firearm by convicted by convicted felon, possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce, and also reckless conduct.
Okay, so no battery, family violence, or simple battery.
No, I'm not seeing that on the case manager. But regardless, he also, that pretrial didn't mention, he also has a 2011 battery family violence arrest, a 2007 battery family violence arrest, and a 2008 simple battery robbery, kidnapping, and FTA arrest, in addition to all his other arrests and violent convictions.
Okay. All right, Mr. McNeil, I've given you a bond. Good luck to you, sir. If you have any additional questions, Mr. Cook, if you can talk with him regarding those after court today.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
I don't know, my man is 15. 15 what? 15. So that 150?
Yeah. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna have position number 19, Robbie Robinson. Hold on, Mr. Robinson. I don't know who we have in ACDC, Your Honor. I'm trying to go to ACDC because I wanted to go 1-on-1.
Okay. I'm not sure if we have anybody to unmute, and I don't know.
Here comes Milton.
Here comes Milton. Okay.
We have Frederica Northern at ACDC.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I believe this is, how are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Officer Milton. Who do we have there?
Northern, I believe it's position 14.
14, okay. All right, Frederica Northern, is that you, Miss Northern? Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006005B with rear view obstruction, possession or use of drug-related objects, driving while license suspended or revoked, and attempting to misrepresent a tag. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
She has 26 cycles out of Tennessee. The last arrest was May the 8th, 2024 out of Nashville, Tennessee, for the misuse of evidence of a vehicle registration. There was no disposition for it. She does have misdemeanor convictions out of Tennessee. One in 2017 for theft of property, one in 2014 for DUI, and one in 2016 for drug paraphernalia. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. McCarthy.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 24th. Officers were conducting a traffic due to the defendant having plastered handheld beauty mirrors on her side mirrors. While speaking with the defendant, officers observed several needles in the vehicle and 2 glass pipes with brown residue, as well as a clear baggie with a broken glass pipe, as well, and a scale. Upon running the tag, officers found that the tag was registered to a black Honda Civic. However, the vehicle the defendant was driving was a white Hyundai Ascent. The defendant's license was also suspended. And so the state's recommendation, given her numerous arrests out of Tennessee, is a $500 surety bond on each count and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay, is this your case, Mr. McLean?
This is my case, Your Honor.
Oh, Mr. Cook. Okay, Mr. Cook, if agreeable with you for the, these are all going to be signature bonds through the jail. For the rear view obstruction, a $250 signature bond through the jail. For the possession, $500 signature bond through the jail. Suspended license, $500 signature bond through the jail. Tag, $250 signature bond through the jail. Makes for a total of a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Mr. Cook?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I apologize. I still had Mr. Robinson on the calendar. I didn't have Ms. Northern. And I'm so sorry. I apologize to the courts. If you could please, I apologize, and I'm so sorry. All right. If you could please go over Ms. Northern's fund again for me, please.
Okay, no, you're fine. They're all signature bonds to the jail. Rear view obstruction, 250. Possession of drug-related objects, 500. The suspended license, 500, and the misrepresenting tag, 250. Makes for a total of 1,500.
Thank you so much. And once again, I apologize, Your Honor.
No worries, no worries. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Northern.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is gonna be position number 19, Mr. Robbie Robinson in courtroom 2.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Robinson. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006004E with criminal trespass and possession and use of drug-related objects. Your history, Ms. Jackson?
Okay, this is Robbie Robinson, correct?
That's correct, position 19.
Thank you. He has 60 cycles. The last arrest was March the 20th, 2024, out of Dunwoody, Georgia, for burglary in the 2nd degree. And that case appeared to be still pending, Your Honor. Also, he has an outstanding hold out of Philadelphia for burglary tools. Date on that warrant was July the 12th, 2010. He does have a prior felony conviction. It's in 1997 out of DeKalb County for felony theft by shoplifting. And he does have misdemeanor convictions. It's one in 2018 for disorderly conduct. It's an additional one in 2018 for criminal trespassing. It's one in 2017 for criminal trespassing. It's one in 2014 for disorderly conduct. One in 2013 out of Clayton County for disorderly conduct and obstruction of an officer. And one in 2012 for criminal trespassing and obstruction of an officer. And there was one in 2010 out of Pennsylvania for possession of controlled substance. And there was another one in 2010 out of New York for petty larceny. An additional one in 2010 out of New York for criminal trespassing. And one in 2009 out of New York for criminal trespassing. And there was another one in 2009 out of New York for assault in the 3rd degree. And one in 2007 out of New York for obtain transportation without paying. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
And that's my case, Your Honor. This is an incident from August the 26th at about 12:30 a.m. Police were called to the Core Apartments, that's 741 Morosgo, Morosgo Drive. There, a courtesy officer was doing a walkthrough of the location when he saw the defendant exiting the 5th floor elevator. He encountered the defendant, asked him if he lived there. The defendant did not live there. He was ID'd as Mr. Robbie Robinson, and it was discovered that he'd been previously criminally trespassed from the location by police and by staff. He also had pipes in his possession inside of a book bag. You just heard from pre-trial that just within the last 5 years, this defendant has had probably 4 or 5 convictions for criminal trespass at McDonald's, Target, Publix, all in the same area. We would be requesting $1,000 surety bond, Your Honor. Social worker interview prior to release. Stay away from the location at the Core Apartments at 741 Morosgo Drive. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Yes, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, I don't have a lot to work with on the arrest record. I will rely upon the simplicity of the charge to ask the court to consider a signature bond. A couple of the conditions that the state mentioned are entirely appropriate. Stay away, and a social worker.
All right, for the criminal trespass, it'll be a $200 good bond. For the possession of drug-related objects, $100 good bond, makes for a total of a $300 good bond. A social worker visit to assist with housing. Stay away from that Morosgo Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If he's not out by September 10th on that SAP calendar, if you can have the social worker report to the judge to let them know if they've been able to assist him.
Understood. September and social worker. Very good.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Robinson.
Next is position 22, Ariana Smith, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006013G with simple battery family violence. Do you have a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. She has 2 cycles. The last arrest was December the 10th, 2014, out of New York, operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol. She does have 1 misdemeanor conviction that was in 2014 out of New York for DUI. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR and level 1. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Again, that's my case, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 24th of August. The incident location is 550 Northside Parkway in Sandy Springs. Police responded to a domestic at about midnight. On scene, they spoke to the victim. He is joining us on Zoom. His name is DeMarcus Adams England. He reported that there had been an argument because the oven was left on inside, and the defendant threw a water bottle at him. He got in her face. She threw food at him. He sat down on the couch. She began pulling his hair, and he separated himself forcefully from her. She went outside. We've been in touch with Mr. Adams England. He reports that they've been together for 3 years and share a child, that they don't have a history of domestic violence, and he is not afraid. We're requesting $1,000 SOB through pretrial, Your Honor. No violent contact and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Mr. Adams England wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but what position is this?
This is position number 22, Miss Ariana Smith.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I do. I would like to say something.
Okay, hold on. So, Mr. England, I'm happy to have you address the court. You'll have to activate your camera for me, please.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay.
Okay, very good.
Hey, so
hold on, Mr. Adams. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yeah.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, nothing but the truth.
Okay, very good. Yes, sir.
So I just want to figure out the night of the incident. The officer told us that, you know, when they came and, you know, we talked to them, we spoke to them, no one was arrested. And I'm trying to figure out now, why would they come back and arrest her the next day?
Okay, this is just a bond hearing this afternoon, Mr. Adams England. I'm not sure what's going on before this time and why the officers came back at a different time. The state has suggested a signature bond, so more than likely she will receive a signature bond in this case with no further violent contact against you. Okay, any other questions you might have, you can address to or you'll have her address to Mr. McLean, who's her attorney. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's good to come back. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here this afternoon, sir.
No problem.
Mr. McLean, any objections to any of the requests from the state?
No, Your Honor, we agree with the state. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Mr. Adams England, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on him. Good luck to you, Ms. Smith. You also, Mr. Adams England.
Thank you.
Oh, Your Honor, while I'm on, may I state that on number 21, that should be a breakout.
Okay, well, I'll make note of that. Thank you. We need a breakout for 21.
Also, let me inquire about Miss Williams, Ayanna Williams. I was told it's going to be a felony, but does that mean we're going to address bond or it's going to be addressed elsewhere?
I don't see that person on our docket.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, who do we have next? Courtroom 2.
This is gonna be position number 20, Mr. Theodore Rumel.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Rommel. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006-007J with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Your Honor, he does not have any prior arrest on file. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
That's my case, Your Honor. This is from August the 25th, between 11:30 in the evening or afternoon, morning, 11:30 and 1, excuse me, so the middle of the day. Police were called to 311 Peachtree Hills Avenue Northeast. The victim, her name is Kelsey Armbruster, Armbruster. She reported that she and the defendant, her boyfriend, had been celebrating her birthday. They lived together and they had both been drinking alcohol. He left and returned, and when she asked where he had been, he became angry and a verbal altercation ensued, which then became physical. She reported that the defendant pushed her against a wall. This is his first arrest that I can see. We have not been able to talk to Mrs. Armbruster yet today. We were gonna request a SOB, 1,000 SOB through pretrial, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, no violent contact, and a week of anger management, Your Honor.
If Ms. Kelsey Armbruster is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. McLean.
I believe it'd be appropriate for us to agree with the state on that unless Mr. Rommel needs me to explain to him about 1 week of anger awareness.
Your Honor, actually, if I might, since we haven't been able to talk to her yet, we would ask for no contact until a bond order can be modified through her request.
Mr. McLean, have you ever been able to speak with Ms. Armbruster?
I did not talk with her, Your Honor, just him.
Okay. Given that no one has talked to the alleged victim, you have anything else, Mr. McLean?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness. At this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Armbruster, and stay away from the Peachtree Hills address. Of course, this can be modified if someone does speak with Ms. Armbruster and she wishes to have something different in place. One-time escort by police to retrieve any belongings, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Rommel.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 7, Mr. Terry Harden.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harden. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006-006C with theft by receiving stolen property. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 59 cycles. The last arrest was November the 7th, 2022 in Cobb County for a probation violation. He does appear to be on probation in Fulton County for burglary with the intent to commit a theft and possession of tools for commission of a crime. That case number is 14 SC 129792. And I apologize to the courts. It's like three cases that may run concurrently together, and that's one of them. The next case is theft by taking. That case number is 14 SC 129583. And the next case is for theft by taking. That case number is 15 SC 133362. That disposition date was November the 23rd, 2015. And the term is for 9 years. Also, he has an additional open probation case in Fulton County for theft by receiving stolen property. and false statements and writings. That case number is 23 SC 186192. That disposition date was September the 18th, 2023, and the term is for 3 years. In addition to that, he appears to have an open probation case in Cobb County for 2 counts of theft by taking and theft by receiving stolen property. That disposition date was April the 7th, 2021, 2 years of confinement and 8 years of probation. And he does have prior felony convictions, one in 2006 out of Cobb County for theft by taking, and one in 2004 out of Cobb County for theft by receiving stolen property, and one in 2000 out of Douglas County for 2 counts of theft by taking. And he does have misdemeanor convictions. It's one in 2021 out of Clayton County for driving while license suspended or revoked, one in 2020 out of Cobb County for driving while license suspended or revoked, one in 2015 out of Cobb County for criminal trespassing. And there are additional cases, convictions in 2015 out of Cobb County for driving while license suspended or revoked. And there was an additional case in 2015 out of Cobb County for DUI. He was recommended for UJRA level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. McCaughey.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 23rd, 2024. The defendant is accused of retaining a 2002 Ford Ranger that had been reported stolen the day before on August 22nd. The defendant claimed that the vehicle belonged to a man named Johnny and he was fixing the vehicle for him. However, the defendant could not provide any contact information for this alleged man named Johnny. The defendant also told officers that he had never driven the vehicle or entered it. However, he was seen on video numerous times entering and driving the vehicle. Given the defendant's very lengthy criminal history, including numerous convictions for theft, the state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 48 years old. He has lived in the area his entire life. We would ask, we have no argument with the conditions of bond. We would ask that the court accept the pre-trial recommendation of a UGA level 3.
Okay, it's gonna be $1,000 good bond and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Harden.
Can we put, courtroom 1 and Mr. Cook and statute interpreter to a breakout, please?
Okay.
Ms. Blunt, can we hold on?
Your Honor, I apologize, Your Honor. I'm just looking at the incident report again, and we do have a victim's name, Ricky Leverett. So I would just ask that he have no further contact with that victim. And that is for Mr. Terry Harden.
Okay, did you get that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Ms. Bridgewater, did you get that?
I have it, yes.
Okay, very good. Now, Norris, tell me again, Norris, what you were saying?
Ms. Blunt, can we hold off on the next 2 cases? Cook only has 2 more left, and then the rest are Mike McLean's.
Okay.
Thank you. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 9, Mr. Deshaun Jackson.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Jackson. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0059988E with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. This is going to be a bond surrender, Your Honor. The last arrest was May the 2nd, 2023 for simple battery in Fulton County. He would receive a signature bond on that charge. That case number is 23 CR 00275-1 and the letter E. He does have 1 prior misdemeanor conviction that was in 2014 out of Cherokee County for theft by shoplifting. And I apologize, Your Honor, I did not write down the cycles. While you guys are discussing the case, I will pull it up and give the court the cycles, please.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. McGuire.
Yes, Your Honor. I had that he had 3 cycles. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Jackson, once you pull that up. This incident occurs August 24th, 2024. The victim in this case is Alexis Parker, who shares a child with the defendant. The incident occurred at 557 West Lake Avenue Northwest in Atlanta. The victim advised that she had confronted the defendant after she received a social media message from another woman who claimed to have a relationship with the defendant. When the victim confronted him, the defendant became upset and irate, and while he was holding their 1-month-old baby, he struck the victim in the face with a closed fist, causing her to sustain a busted lip. Ms. Parker then took the baby from the defendant, and then he proceeded to grab Ms. Parker's glasses from her face and throw them on the ground, causing them to break. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Parker, who confirmed that they are no longer in a relationship and they do not live together, but they do share 1 child. The incident location is the defendant's residence, and she was staying with him. She did confirm the events in the warrant, stated this is the first time he has been violent towards her. She is not in fear of him, and that she does not want contact with the defendant, but she only wants to communicate because they share a child. She stated that, of course, she has left the residence and she has no plans to return. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, $2,500 on the battery, $500 on the cruelty to children. At this time, we are requesting no further contact with the victim. We do think that there might need to be some more time for them to kind of cool off. Any communication regarding the minor child or any visitation that the victim wants the defendant to have with the minor child can be done through a third party. We are also requesting anger awareness for the defendant, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Alexis Parker.
Okay, while I'm doing that, Ms. McConkey, do you have the bond order in the pending case? Or can you get that for me? You're on mute. If you,
Yes, I will get that for you, Your Honor.
okay, thank you. Ms. Jackson?
Yes, 3 cycles, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Cook, if Ms. Alexis Parker is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hi, Your Honor.
Hi, good afternoon, Ms. Parker. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I request a non-violent order because we do have a 1-month child together. This incident just got blown out of proportion, so I really don't want him to sit in jail because we do have a 1-month-old child. As far as the contacting through a third party to drop him off, we really don't have nobody to contact to drop our child off but us. So, yeah, I just feel like this situation got blown out of proportion. I really don't want him to sit in jail.
Has this
But-
ever happened? Has this ever happened before?
No, he's never put his hands on me before, ever. Like this is just a one-time incident.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Parker. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we would be seeking no further violent contact. I don't remember the incident location. Was that his home is 921 Westmoreland Circle. I believe it was reported that they don't live together, so we would ask him to be able to go home. Ask for him to be able to go home. We would be seeking a signature bond at level 3. I don't know what to do about the transfer of the kids if they don't have anybody, an intermediary, but we would certainly like for him to be able to see his kids.
That other bond for me, Ms. McConkey, were you able to?
Yes, Your Honor. $4,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. It was a different victim, but he was also awarded given 1-day anger awareness as a condition of that bond.
Okay, and was that me or someone else?
No, that was Judge Mincy.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, the bond order on the open case also addresses third-party transfer of a child. The state would argue that there needs to be some kind of action through family court or superior court in order to be able to have access to the child in this case. We'd ask for no contact.
Was the alleged victim in the previous case a past romantic partner, do we know?
Yes, and it also involves a child.
Okay. All right, so for the battery family violence, it'll be a $1,500 good bond. For the cruelty, it'll be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. At this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Parker. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, one-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jackson. Who do we have next? Courtroom 2, you're on mute.
It's gonna be position number 13, Mr. Ronnie Millsap. My apologies, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine. Good afternoon, Mr. Millsap. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006003E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 26 cycles. The last arrest was September the 14th, 2019, out of East Point, Georgia, for criminal trespassing. There was no disposition for that arrest. He does have prior felony convictions. One in 2008 for possession of cocaine with the intent to distribute. One in 2003 for possession of controlled substance. And one in 2000 for theft by receiving stolen property. He does have misdemeanor convictions. One in 2009 for criminal trespassing. One in 2004 for 2 counts of disorderly conduct. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred August 24th, 2024. The victim in this case is Shanika Miller, who states that her boyfriend, the defendant, and her were having a verbal dispute when the defendant punched her in the lip, causing her lip to bleed and swell up. The parties lived together and have been together for about 10 years. Our office has had a chance to speak with Ms. Miller, who confirmed that the parties are in a relationship and live together at the incident location, which is 3801 Mays Court Southwest in Atlanta. She stated that they were having a get-together for the defendant's birthday party, and they were all drinking and intoxicated. She stated that the defendant has never been violent with her in the past. She's not afraid of him, and she wants to continue contact. She also wants the defendant to return to the residence. The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, anger awareness, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Shanika Miller.
Ms. Miller, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself. And I'll have to swear you in. Unmute yourself, Ms. Miller. I won't be able to hear you unless you unmute. Okay.
Hello, how you doing, Your Honor?
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you, Ms. Miller. Can you raise your right hand for me?
I can't hardly hear it. My phone is low.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell me?
I'm sorry that this happened. We had a little too much to drink, and he's not violent. And then I love him, and I want him to come home. He does work, and he just bought us a house. We just moved in our house 2 weeks ago.
Okay, has this ever happened before?
No, it has not. He's not violent. He's a good person.
Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Miller. Mr. Cook, any objections to any of the requests from the state? Well, I take it that there is. Go ahead, Mr. Cook.
Yes, we would be given the witnesses testimony, Your Honor. I believe they've lived together about 10 years. We would certainly want him to be able to go home, obviously, and have further contact. We would be seeking a signature bond at, say, level 3.
It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Miller, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Millsap. Okay, so can we go ahead and place Mr. Cook into the breakout room now?
Yes, sir.
Could
All right.
I ask about unless I've Anthony Cabral, did we do him?
Yeah, he was one of the first ones done.
Oh, we did. Okay. Okay.
What?
All right, so we'll put Mr. Cook, the Spanish interpreter, and courtroom 1 into a breakout, please. Thank you.
Thank
All right, so who do we have next?
Next is going to be position number 16, Mr. Philip Pitchford.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Pitchford. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0059990Y with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history? Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. He has 4 cycles. The last arrest was August the 22nd, 2015 with the city of Atlanta for theft by shoplifting. That charge was null pros on March the 9th, 2018. There are no convictions listed in the GCIC. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
And Your Honor, that's my case. This is an incident from the 24th of August at 1503 Westview Drive, Southwest. The victim and the defendant are married. The victim's name is Sharon Pitchford. That's Cheron, I believe. She's also on the Zoom if you would sound for her when I'm done. At about 10 a.m., police were called to the location about a dispute. She was seen, the victim, outside crying in distress, obviously emotional and upset. She reported that she was in an argument with her husband and she tried to go to the bedroom to get some space. He refused to allow her to do that, pushed her against a wall. She then said she needed a break and that she was going to take a shower. At that point, he went downstairs. When she got out of the shower, her laptop was literally broken in half. She asked the defendant why he broke her things. She then asked for her car keys, and those were not given to her. She asked for car keys to be used, that resulted in her being pushed and screamed at. She said she started to throw items once she was physically assaulted. The defendant, when he spoke to the police, showed police a video of him while the victim is asking about why he damaged her laptop and asking for her car keys. And he responds by saying he doesn't have them. He then demands keys from her and approaches her aggressively and begins to get louder. It's not clear on the video if she ever made contact with him, but that's what the defendant's claim is that he was assaulted by the victim. That's not what the video showed. There were 2 children present, Your Honor. The charges in this case are not a battery because it doesn't look like there was any visible injury. There's a criminal damage based on the damage to the laptop. The victim, Mrs. Pitchford has been in touch with our office. She reports that there's been violence in the past, but she feels like it's escalating. She did obtain an order for protection and has requested no contact and to stay away. So we're asking for a $4,000 SOB through pretrial, no contact with the victim, and to stay away from the location. Again, that's 1503 Westview Drive, Your Honor. A one-time police escort to get some things, and we would request anger management and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you. And Ms. Pritchard is on the Zoom, I believe.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Pitchford. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I just wanted to say that in this situation, it is something that has been happening over the years, but not to this level, and has just been continuing to escalate and escalate. I am concerned because it has been my experience that he will try and do things to be manipulative or to persuade other people to kind of look like the good guy. And when he does not successfully do that, that triggers him more and he continues to escalate from there. And so I guess my biggest request is that because I did put that protective order in, I don't want him to try to skirt the line and not get served or whatever. And I just want to make certain that he's served before he leaves, if that's possible. Because I just want there to be like a clear boundary there. And I am, this has been going on for years. Obviously, I have tried to keep working it out and making excuses. And I think I've gotten to a place where it's hard for me to admit, but I am scared. And we've had a lot going on recently financially. He's lost his job and there's a lot. And I think there's a part of me that just is scared. I don't want him to be in a place of like, oh, I've lost everything, and just, I'm scared he's on edge. And so I just want to make certain that he gets that protective order and the boundaries are clear. And that is, I don't know how to make certain that happens before he leaves.
Well, I'll make certain that that my order states that he can have no further contact with you whatsoever. Okay, and I'll make it clear to him what that means. Okay, as far as the protective order goes, this is a bond hearing today, but hopefully he'll be served with that. What I'm saying is that I'll do
that. We'll facilitate that, Your Honor. And I will, with all candor, let the court know that there are prior attempts to get protective orders by this victim in the past, and service has been an issue. So we'll facilitate that. Ms. Pitchford, we'll be in contact with you. Please continue to speak with our victim advocate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Mr. McLean. You're on mute if you're talking to me.
Sorry, Your Honor. The state's recommendation sounded appropriate. I did hear them say anger management. I wondered if that could be anger awareness. Thank you.
For the simple battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Ms. Pitchford. Stay away from the Westview Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. For now, Mr. Phillips, I see Mr. Philip Pitchford. I see you have your hand up. Put your hand down for me while I explain. Continue with my bond order here. Then I'll allow you to ask Mr. McLean any questions that you might have. No contact means absolutely no contact. No personal contact, of course. No phone contact. No email contact. No social media contact. No contact through third parties. No contact whatsoever. If this court finds out that you have contacted or violated this order, then this bond will be withdrawn. Okay. Let's see. I know that you had a question, Mr. McLean. Do you want to advise him?
Mr. Pitchford, if your question is about the procedure of the bond, go ahead and ask it. If it's about the facts of the case, do not.
It's about the trespassing charge and what?
Okay.
Georgia
You can
law.
you can deal with that at a later time, Mr. Pitcher. I've given you a signature bond on these charges, so you can work with Mr. McLean or going forward in that regard, okay?
Oftentimes people just don't understand that label, right?
Next, y'all, is gonna be position number 17, Mr. Cody Polio.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Polio. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0059994A with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history?
He has 2 cycles. The last arrest was March the 5th, 2012 out of Texas for alien inadmissibility. There was no disposition for that arrest and there are no convictions listed in the GCIC. He was recommended for UJR in level 1, nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Cody Polio.
Yes.
He's got a substantial criminal history.
I apologize, Your Honor.
No,
I pulled
okay.
the wrong one. I actually pulled Mr. Lopez Sandoval. I apologize to the courts. I misunderstood.
Okay.
Can I get that name again, please?
It's Pollio, Cody.
Thank you. I have it.
Okay.
All right. He does have 6 cycles. The last arrest was September the 5th, 2023, out of the city of Atlanta for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, a felony first offender. He does appear to have an open case pending in Fulton County for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, 2 counts, and possession of a knife or a firearm during commission of a felony. That case number is 23 CP 216493. That's an additional open case pending. And that's with the city of Atlanta for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, a felony first offender. There is no case number provided. It looks more like a reference number. Would you like that, Yana?
No, thank
I'm sorry, Yana?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Also, he appears to be on probation in Fulton County for armed robbery and criminal street gang activity. That case number is 09SC80361. That disposition date was June the 19th, 2017. It's 10 years of confinement and 3 years of probation, and that is first offender sentence. He does appear to be on probation in Cobb County for battery. That disposition date was December the 8th, 2023. The term is for 11 months and 29 days. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJRA level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is my case. This should be a felony. We have requested a transfer, but the DA's office has not been responsive as yet today. The defendant in this case, Mr. Polio, has a prior conviction for battery family violence in 2019. I believe it's against the same victim, Your Honor, Mrs. Catherine Sanders. This incident is a delayed arrest. The incident in front of you is from January. The police were called to 1568 Mary George Avenue Northwest, where Mrs. Sanders was observed to have a visible injury. She reported that she'd been grabbed by the neck by the defendant, who then slapped her in the face. She reported that they live together and share a child. One of the children that she has that is not the defendant's was arguing with the defendant, and she intervened and asked him to stop yelling at her child. That's when he grabbed her and held her against a wall and repeatedly slapped her before fleeing. I would note that the criminal history for this gentleman not only includes a prior battery family violence, but in 19 SC 171179, he was arrested for an aggravated assault, strangulation, and cruelty in the 3rd degree. That was against the same victim. He was allowed to plead guilty to battery family violence and was ordered to complete FVIP. He was terminated from probation when he did not complete family violence intervention programming. So just to be clear, a battery on the same victim didn't follow through with probationary terms. In addition, 22 SC 182158 is a reckless conduct shooting into a residence where there are women and children. He and the victim in this case, Mrs. Sanders, are co-defendants for that behavior, which includes cruelty in the third degree and reckless conduct for shooting into people's homes. We have been in touch with Ms. Sanders today. She reports that they're no longer in a relationship, but they live together. And she says she's pregnant with his child. I would note that the 19 SC case in that situation and during that event, she was pregnant with the first child that she had with him. Mrs. Sanders was reluctant to speak to us with much detail. You can probably guess why. She is a co-defendant and may still be under sentence. I know the defendant is still under sentence in that reckless shooting case, but he's had violence against her and hasn't really had any consequences that are significant. So we're going to be asking for a $4,000 bond, Your Honor, surety bond. Absolutely no contact with Miss Catherine Sanders and to stay away from the location wherever she may reside. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. This was a case that we would have raised a red flag for a strangulation, and I find it interesting that that's what their last case was as well. She was seen to have marks on her neck, but obviously she's not cooperative with explaining some of the facts in this situation, and there's a safety issue. So she's currently pregnant. They share a child. His last battery conviction was a reduction from aggravated assault strangulation. She was pregnant at that time, and both of them have displayed and have convictions for behavior that not just endangers their children, but other people's children. Both of them have been convicted together as co-defendants for recklessly shooting into a home where there were children. Thank you.
Ms. Sanders, I see you on the line. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you choose to, you'll need to activate your camera, unmute yourself, and I'll have to swear you in.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, Ms. Sanders?
The case that happened was actually completed with me and Cody and another person, where we actually got found not guilty, but we did have other conditions that we had to comply by. But if I would have taken it to trial, it would have been thrown out for self-defense on that. And the cruelty to children were towards my kids because they were there. So it was nothing that happened between me and Cody and shooting into someone else's house. That is false information. This incident happened in January of this year, and ever since, me and Cody has went through counseling together, as well as family counseling that I get through my job. Yes, I am currently pregnant with his child now, and I'm not in fear of him. I don't know why they feel that I'm not being cooperative. It seems like they're trying to pin something on him. Again, this happened in January. This is not something that has been recent, and nothing has happened ever since January. We both have went through counseling. We have been through couples counseling as well as family counseling. So I'm not in fear. I did tell them that we do live together. So the address that they came to, the 1568, we do both reside at that residence. We do have children. I have children, and we have a child together, and I'm currently pregnant with his child now. Cody goes to work. I go to work. We take care of our children. We've been going on ever since. So since January, nothing has happened ever since.
Questions, Ms. Allen?
For clarification, 22 SC 182158 is the criminal indictment for Mrs. Sanders. She pled guilty to disorderly conduct. That was what she pled to instead of the aggravated assault shooting, as well as criminal damage to property in the first degree. She pled guilty to criminal trespass. And what she did just explain to you was that the cruelty in the third degree, multiple counts in that case, were not only applied to children in the home that the shooting occurred, but to her own children that were exposed to this behavior at the time as well. we would
Over
again
a self-defense,
argue
over a
that.
over something with self-defense. But yes, ma'am,
We would
self-defense.
again argue, Your Honor, for no contact and stay away. Somebody's got to take the safety of these kids into consideration.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Sanders. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I would emphasize the passage of the approximately 8 months since the date. And I would also note that at least the public safety assessment noted that he had no FTAs, despite the serious charges in the past. He does show up for court. I would ask the court, the months of no problem would suffice, indicating that there is sufficient safety. We would ask the court to consider signature bond, but if the court is against that, we would ask for no more than about $2,030 with appropriate conditions. If the court felt that an appropriate condition were not to be in the residence, I do have, looking at his 3 card, which is a slang term, also known as the booking sheet, that address shown there is a separate address. And so there would be no problem with that if the court desired.
Okay, for the battery, it'll be a $3,000 surety bond. For the simple battery, $1,000 surety bond makes for a total of a $4,000 surety bond. No further contact with Ms. Sanders. Stay away from the May George Avenue address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you all. Who do we have next?
What was that breakdown again? I apologize.
That's fine. 3 for the battery, 1 for the simple battery. Good bonds.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next is going to be Mr. Reynolds. That's position number 18.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Reynolds. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006001J with simple battery, family violence, and reckless conduct. Is there a history?
Yes, he has 2 cycles. The last arrest was May the 30th, 2020 with the city of Atlanta for disorderly conduct. There was no disposition for that arrest. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR in level 1. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, this is my case. This happened on the 25th of August. The victim in this case, her name is Marquisha Franklin, and that's Marquisha. She and her 9-month-old Marquez Reynolds Jr. were sitting down. This happened in front of, I believe, the defendant's mother at 3664 Crosby Drive Northwest at about 4:30 in the morning. Police responded to a domestic. On the scene, police encountered the defendant who was angry, packing up his things, and he actually approached police saying he was going to kick their ass and had to be threatened with a taser in order to comply. The mother of the defendant, Mrs. Jessica Reynolds, told police that he'd been drinking and he became irate, and she watched him shove the young woman I just named, Mrs. Franklin, out of a chair onto the ground while she was holding their 9-month-old. There are no injuries seen at this point, Your Honor. This is a simple battery, family violence, and a reckless conduct for doing that kind of behavior that could have endangered the safety of both mom and child, honestly. We'd ask for a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. He's got no history. We have not been in touch with the victim at this point, but we'd ask for no contact and anger management, Your Honor. Thank you.
If Ms. Marquisha Franklin is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, we would agree with the signature bond the state has proposed. We would rather it be anger awareness than management.
Okay, so $1,000 signature bond through pretrial on each charge makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact at this point in time since no one has spoken with Ms. Franklin. Stay away from the Crosby Drive address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. Of course, this can be modified if someone hears from Ms. Franklin and her desires are different. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Reynolds.
Your Honor, he had a cruelty to the children, 3rd degree. Was that NOD?
Yes, that's NOD because you can't charge cruelty with a simple battery, but you can charge reckless. So there's an NOD I submitted for the cruelty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next is going to be position number 24, Mr. Terry Turner.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Turner. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006011Y with forgery in the 4th degree. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 5 cycles. The last arrest was August the 23rd, 2024, with the City of Atlanta Police Department for knowingly driving a motor vehicle on a suspended or canceled or revoked registration and affixing materials that reduce or increase light transmission / reflectance of windows or windshields. That case appeared to be still pending with the City of Atlanta. There were no convictions listed in the GCIC, Your Honor. It does appear to meet the criteria for UJR at level 3. Nothing in addition.
You're on mute, Ms. Allen.
Can you tell me the name of this defendant? I apologize.
No, you're fine. Turner, position 24, Terry Turner.
So Mr. Turner's criminal history says and shows that he took a first offender for entering auto in 2017 in Fulton County and possession of a firearm by a first offender with a conviction in 19 SC 167286. So he is a convicted felon. This is a case that was reported out of Hateville. Evidently, the defendant on surveillance on May the 10th of 2024 is seen depositing a $1,400 check into his Delta Community Credit Union checking account. That check had been altered. It was a payment from Georgia Power to a gentleman named David Farrell. This was discovered by the bank in Statesboro, I believe, and reported. Surveillance was obtained and his identity was confirmed. He was not the intended person who was supposed to be the receiver of that check, Your Honor. We'd ask for a $2,000 surety bond just because of criminal history. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
McLean.
We'd ask the court to consider a signature bond since it's not a violent crime and the history is a few cases, despite it being a felony. Thank you.
All right, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Turner.
Next, you have position number 25, Mr. Jack Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006010G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor, he has 36 cycles. The last arrest was January the 9th, 2024 in Fulton County for criminal trespassing. There was no disposition for that arrest. He does have 1 prior felony conviction. It was in 2004 out of Illinois for possession of controlled substance. And he does have misdemeanor convictions. 1 in 2024 out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing and obstruction of an officer. 1 in 2019 for DUI. 1 in 2016 out of Kentucky for disorderly conduct. And 1 in 2010 out of West Virginia for petty larceny. And 1 in 2005 out of Illinois for local ordinance. And 1 in 2004 out of Illinois for possession of cannabis. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is my case. My review of his criminal history also shows a considerable amount of arrest cycles and convictions for drugs, drug objects, criminal trespass. He's got a DUI conviction. This is an incident that occurred at MARTA at the Peachtree Station. He has an active ban that was issued in February. He was seen at the location on the 24th of August at 216 Peachtree Road Northeast, inside the MARTA station. This is one count of criminal trespass. We'd ask for $1,000 surety and an order to stay away from all MARTA locations, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. His most recent arrest was a Clayton County criminal trespass, not out of Atlanta, but it was this year.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I'd ask the court to consider a signature bond in that he is a veteran. He was served 4 years in the Marine Corps. And when I told him about the Veterans Homeless Program that's run out of the former Fort Mac, and told him that he would have to get there without using MARTA, he sounded very receptive to the information and was taking it down. I told him that the person who runs that program used to work in our office for several years as a social worker, and prior to that was a discharge planner at Fulton County Jail. So I think we've hooked him up with some good information that will help his housing situation, Your Honor. We'd ask the court to consider a signature bond and appropriate conditions. I would point out that he made it halfway through the year of the ban, but halfway is not good enough, of course.
Okay. Mr. Williams, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out of custody, but you're going to have to make sure that you come back for your next hearing. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. I want if he does not have it, Mr. McLean, I want you to make sure that he has the information for assistance with housing. You can't go back to MARTA, Mr. Williams, so you're going to have to find some other mode of transportation. If I find out that you've gone back to MARTA, they're just going to arrest you again, and you're going to be right back here, and I'm not going to give you a signature bond next time, okay? All right, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams.
Next is gonna be position number 26, Mr. Lamar Williams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You've been charged in case 24 CR 006008E with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor, he does have 2 cycles. The last arrest was April the 5th, 2012, out of Maryland for possession of controlled substance, a misdemeanor. He does have 1 misdemeanor conviction that was in 2010 out of Maryland for possession of controlled substance. He appeared to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Your Honor, this is an incident that occurred on the 25th of August. The location is 350 Lanier Street, apartment C4. Police were called to the location on a domestic. There they met with the victim. Her name is Martine, M-A-R-T-I-N-E, Hatcher. She's got a 10-year-old child, King, and a 5-year-old child, Nala. She reported that in front of her children, the defendant pushed her into a wall, which caused her to strike her head. She had asked him to take a walk and cool down after an argument, and he tried to grab her phone and then leave the house with it. He was successful in removing her phone from her possession, and when she went to get it back, that's when he shoved her against the wall in the kitchen, and she hit her head. He then took her phone and went outside. That's the criminal trespass, the interference with her possession of her cell phone. And this is a simple battery, Your Honor. I mentioned that there are 2 children present, not because there are charges associated with them, but because the behavior is troublesome. And the police report indicates that when they spoke to these 2 children, ages 5 and 10, they said, "Daddy hit mommy." We have spoken to Mrs. Hatcher. She reports that they have 3 children together and they've been together for 20 years, that they have no domestic violence history, and that they just moved here from the Baltimore area. She would request no further violent contact. Your Honor, based on his lack of a criminal history, we'd ask for a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial, no violent contact, and a 1-week anger management. Thank you.
Let's see if Miss Martine Hatcher is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Good afternoon, ma'am. Can you raise your, thank you. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I never stated that I did not want him to have no contact or whatever that is, because I don't know what no violent contact is. I never intended for him to be arrested. Like she said, we've been together 20 years out of Maryland. They spoke on his 2 priors. He was, if you look at his age, he was 19, roughly coming out of that age era. He's never been in trouble since then. He's changed his life. As she spoke, we do have 3 children, one which is 19 in college, just graduated last year when we moved here to Georgia. He's not a violent man. He's not a violent man. His children are not scared of him. We run a 2-parent home for 20 years. Our children, even my daughter, have never been in trouble. We're not that type of family. It's just he was going through some things, honestly, with the recession and being laid off at FedEx, and it just kind of escalated, and I let them know that, and he did like push past me to get by with the phone. And to my children, they never witnessed anything like that. So when they asked them that, that's what they said. My children have never been encountered the police before, so this was devastating to them.
Okay, it's
So
not happened before. You telling me
it
it hasn't
never
happened?
happened before. And I, if you have to ask me, request that he be released. We don't have no $2, $3, $4, $5,000. I don't have that, and I am the only person he has.
Okay, the state hasn't, they're requesting a signature bond. Ms.
I don't even
Williams.
know what that is, sir, because we never been through this before. I'm being dead honest with you.
Okay, you're fine. That's that he'll be able to sign his own bond to get out. You won't have to post any money.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, ma'am. Yes, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, we agree with the state about a signature bond would be appropriate. No further violent contact. 1 week of anger. I'm calling it awareness. Our difference in nomenclature may not even be a distinction. That's it.
Okay. For the simple battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Martine Hatcher, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you both.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 27, Mr. Youngblood.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Youngblood. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0060009J with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, public drunk, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 54 cycles. The last arrest was June the 16th, 2024 in DeKalb County for criminal trespassing. That charge was dismissed on June the 27th, 2024. He does have misdemeanor sentences and convictions. He received a nolo contendere sentence in 2023 out of Clayton County for disorderly conduct and criminal trespassing. There was a conviction on 2022 out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing. And there was one in 2021 out of Dunwoody, Georgia for theft by shoplifting. And he received a nolo contendere sentence in 2019 for theft by shoplifting. And there was a conviction in 2019 out of DeKalb County for criminal trespassing. And there's one in 2018 for simple battery. And there's an additional one in 2018 out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing. And he received a nolo contendere sentence in 2017 out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing. There's one in 2012 out of Clayton County for simple battery. There's an additional one in 2012 out of Clayton County for criminal trespassing. And there's another one in 2012 out of Clayton County for battery and obstruction of an officer. And there was one in 2011 for criminal trespassing. There's an additional one in 2011 for simple assault, and one in 2010 for theft by shoplifting. And he appears to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, that's my case. This is from August the 24th at about 4 a.m. This took place at the Regions Plaza Hotel at 1180 West Peachtree Street Northwest. As you heard the recitation from pretrial, this defendant has a long and extensive criminal history for basically the same kind of behavior, assaulting people, being disorderly, and being places where he's not supposed to be. This incident occurred when police were called to the location because a pair of trespassers who continued to come onto the property were seen on the property and refusing to leave. It's reported that this happens over and over again, and when the police are called, the defendants flee and disappear. The officer who responded actually recognized Mr. Youngblood and his co-defendant because he'd responded previously on similar calls. So the charge, Your Honor, is a criminal trespass for having been previously told to stay off the property and encountered police previously. Public drunk, the defendant was seen to be swaying, cursing at police, unable to walk straight, and had slurred speech. There were also open liquor bottles with he and his co-defendant. He resisted arrest multiple times, balling up his fists at police, yanking his arms away while they were trying to detain him, and clenching his arms and his body. We're asking for a $2,000 surety. Your Honor, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Stay away from the location, and we would request a social worker visit before release. Thank you.
Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond or with a social worker before release. And in doing so, we're simply looking at the nature of the charge.
And the defendant did come in with a disorderly, Your Honor, as well, but I submitted an NOD. That's just a duplicative charge. So you should have 3 in front of you.
Okay. All right, for the obstruction, it'll be a $500 good bond. For the public drunk, a $250 good bond. For the criminal trespass, a $250 good bond. Makes for a total of $1,000 good bond. Social worker visit to assist with housing. Stay away from the Regents on West Peachtree Street, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Youngblood.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay.
Let's see how we're gonna do this. We have 3 that's gonna be McLean's. One is the interview with the Spanish interpreter. The other one is the breakout, which is position number 21. And the other one is a waiver, which is position number 23. Now, we can continue and go with position 1 and position number 11, which is Mr. Cook's. But then Mr. McLean is gonna have to interview the Spanish interpreter.
Okay, do we have a room for him to go into with the interpreter?
He can't because he has to be in both areas. They all McLean's clients, every last one.
Okay, so he's gonna have to, so we're gonna have to shut down courtroom 2 so that he can interview?
That is correct, but let's take care of Mr. Cook's clients first.
Okay, let's do that, and then we'll come back and I guess take some time off. All right, so who's next? Who's next?
It's gonna be position number 1, Mr. Arminta Lima.
Okay, and this is the one that needed the interpreter?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez. Can you raise your right hand for me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do you swear affirm that you will interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Arminta Lima. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005991G with battery family violence.
Buenas tardes, señor Armenta Lima. Usted está acusado en el caso 24 CR 005991G en agresión física, violencia doméstica.
Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
¿Algún historial?
He does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor.
No tiene ningún arresto previo en sus antecedentes, su señoría.
He appeared to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Y parece que cumple el criterio para una fianza bajo su propia reconocencia por la cárcel, nada más.
Okay, is there I'm sorry, Ms. Mukaki?
Yes, Your Honor. Officers responded to the incident location 540 Sailwind Drive in Roswell, Georgia.
Bueno, entonces la fiscal, algo. Sí, su señoría, los oficiales respondieron al incidente que queda ubicado en la dirección de 540 and this is the interpreter. Can you repeat the address, please?
540 Sailwind Drive, Roswell, Georgia.
And Sailwind Drive in Roswell, Georgia.
The defendant is accused of pushing the victim, Arely Ramirez, to the ground, causing her forearm to bleed.
El acusado se le acusa de empujar a la víctima, Arely Rodríguez, al piso, causando que el antebrazo sangre.
The assault was witnessed by Zurich's Sylvia, who advised that she saw the defendant push the victim to the ground and then begin to kick her.
Este incidente fue observado por una Zurich Silvia que indica que el acusado empujó a la víctima al piso y luego la empezó a patear.
The defendant and the victim live together and share a child.
El acusado y la víctima viven en conjunto y tienen un hijo juntos.
Our office has had a chance to speak with Ms. Ramirez, who states that she and the defendant have been together for 2 years and have a 2-month-old daughter.
Nuestra oficina pudo hablar con la víctima, con la señora Ramírez, que indica que ella y el acusado llevan juntos 2 años y tienen una menor de 2 meses.
They live together at the incident location. They do not have a domestic violence history, and she is not afraid of the defendant.
Ellos viven juntos en el lugar de residencia. Ella indica que no tienen antecedentes de violencia doméstica y tampoco teme del acusado.
She confirmed the events in the warrant and stated that she wants to continue contact and wants the defendant to come back to the residence.
Ella confirmó los hechos del informe, pero indicó que quiere que él regrese a vivir con ella.
The state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, anger awareness, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol.
La recomendación de la fiscalía es una fianza asegurada de $1,500. No puede tener contacto violento con la víctima, tiene que cumplir con un curso de manejo de ira y no puede tener drogas, alcohol ni armas.
Anything further?
¿Algo más?
No, Your Honor. I would just ask that you sound for the victim, Arely Ramirez.
No, solo se va a pedir que llamen a la víctima, Arely Ramírez.
If Ms. Ramirez is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Si la señora Ramírez está en la llamada y desea hablar con este juzgado, esta es la oportunidad.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, we have no
Okay.
objection to the conditions of the bond as stated by the first recommended by the state. We would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Sí, su señoría, no estamos opuestos a lo que ha dicho la fiscalía. Estamos buscando condiciones de la fianza y estamos pidiendo que una fianza de firma sea apropiada en este caso.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Ms. Ramirez, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Muy bien, entonces va a ser una fianza de $3,000 que se puede asegurar con la firma. Nivel 1 por el servicio de libertad condicional. No puede tener contacto violento con la señora Ramírez y no puede estar en posesión de armas, alcohol o drogas mientras está bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Next, y'all, this is gonna be position number 11, Ms. Lopez Sandoval.
And does Mr. Lopez Sandoval require the interpreter?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Lopez Sandoval. You have been charged in case 24 CR 0060000G with battery family violence.
Buenas tardes, señor Sandoval. Usted está acusado en el caso 24CR006000G por violencia doméstica y agresión física.
Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Señor Jackson, ¿hay antecedentes?
All right, Your Honor, he has 2 cycles. The last arrest was March the 5th, 2012 out of Texas for alien inadmissibility. There was no disposition. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR a level 1. Nothing in addition.
Sí, su señoría tiene 2 ciclos. El último fue en el 2012 en el estado de Texas por un extranjero ilegal, pero no hay ninguna disposición en ese caso. Parece que él es disponible para una fianza bajo su propia firma.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim in this case, Leonly Hernandez, lives at the same residence as the defendant.
Sí, su señoría, la víctima en este caso, Leonie Hernández, vive en la misma residencia que el señor acusado.
Officers responded to the incident location 1409 Summit Springs Drive in Sandy Springs and made contact with the victim.
Los oficiales respondieron a un incidente que quedaba ubicado en la dirección de 1409 Summit Springs Drive en Sandy Springs. Hicieron contacto con la víctima.
The victim had a severe contusion to the right side of her face. Her right eye was swollen completely shut due to the severity of the attack, and she also had scratches under her eye.
Ella tenía una contusión bastante severa en el lado derecho de su cara y también el ojo estaba hinchado y completamente cerrado debido a la gravedad del ataque y también tenía varios rasguños.
The defendant, who was extremely intoxicated at the time that he attacked Ms. Hernandez, had become upset because Ms. Hernandez had received attention from another man.
El acusado estaba bastante intoxicado en el momento y él atacó a la señora Hernández y porque él estaba molesto de que la señora Hernández había recibido atención de otro hombre.
The defendant used his Timberland work boot to strike Ms. Hernandez in the face.
Y el acusado utilizó su bota marca Timberland para agredir a la señora Hernández en la cara.
Our office has spoken with the victim, who states that her and the defendant have been together for 5 years, share no children, and she confirmed that they both reside at the incident location.
Nuestra oficina habló con la víctima que declaró que ella y el acusado han estado juntos 5 años, no tienen hijos y ambos viven en la misma dirección.
She stated they have no DV history. She is not afraid of him. She did confirm the events in the warrant and stated that the defendant was drunk.
Ella declaró que no tienen historial de violencia doméstica, no le tienen miedo pero también confirmó los hechos que aparecen en la orden de arresto e informó que el acusado estaba ebrio.
She wants to continue contact and wants him to return home.
Ella quiere continuar teniendo contacto y quiere que él regrese a casa.
The state understands this is the defendant's second arrest, but the violent nature of this attack is very concerning for the state.
La fiscalía entiende que este solo es un segundo arresto del acusado, pero debido a la naturaleza violenta de este ataque es bastante preocupante para la fiscalía.
The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond. no further contact with the victim at this time, stay away from the incident location, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol.
Así que la fiscalía está recomendando una fianza de $4,000 asegurada, no puede contener ningún tipo de contacto con la víctima, mantenerse alejada de la residencia, tiene que cumplir con un curso de manejo de ira y no puede estar en posesión de alcohol, drogas o alguna arma.
This incident occurred only 2 days ago, and there definitely needs to be some more time for the parties to cool off. And we would ask the court to sound for Leon Lee Hernandez.
Este incidente ocurrió hace 2 días y claramente hay necesidad de más tiempo para que las partes se calmen y le pediríamos a este juzgado que llame a la víctima Leone Hernández.
Ms. Hernandez is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Señora Hernández, si está en la llamada y quiere hablar con este juzgado, esta es su oportunidad.
Sí, quiero hablar.
Yes, I want to speak.
Can you activate your camera for me?
¿Puede prender la cámara, por favor?
Un momento.
Give me a minute.
No la puedo encender.
I
Un momento, no.
can't
No.
turn it on. Give me a minute.
Un segundo, no puedo.
I can't get it on.
I'm happy to hear from you, Ms. Hernandez, but you're going to have to get your camera activated for me.
Yo quiero escuchar lo que usted tiene que decir, señor Hernández, pero necesito que la cámara esté activada.
No puedo activar la cámara.
I can't turn the camera on.
Do you have another device that you can join us with?
¿Tiene algún otro dispositivo del cual se puede reunir?
Ahorita intento, voy a tratar. Un segundo.
I'm going to try. I'll try later.
Okay, Mr. Cook.
Yeah, my client is 30 years old. He's lived in the area about 12 and a half years. He paints houses. He's been doing that since he arrived here. They've lived together. They've been together several years, but they've lived together, I think, about 2 years. I didn't believe they have any children. We would, well, it'd be nice to hear what the alleged victim would have to say, but we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. We have no objection to, and no further violent contact. We have no objection to an anger management class.
Y al abogado Cook, sí, mi cliente tiene 30 años, él ha vivido en el área durante 12 años y medio, pinta casas, lleva haciendo eso desde que llegó acá, ellos viven juntos, creo que han estado juntos mucho tiempo, pero según entiendo solo han vivido juntos 2 años, creo que no tienen hijos y sería bueno escuchar lo que la supuesta víctima tiene que decir al respecto, pero estaríamos bien con una fianza bajo su propia responsabilidad, claramente no objetamos a que no tenga contacto violento y que cumpla con un curso de manejo de ira.
Okay, Ms. Hernandez, are you going to be able to join us on another device?
Señor Hernández, ¿sí se puede conectar del otro dispositivo en este momento?
Sí, solo porque tengo que hacer la cuenta porque en este teléfono no tengo cuenta.
Yes, I just have to register an account because I don't have an account on this other phone.
Okay.
No, me puedo salir y me puedo conectar luego. A lo mejor funciona.
So can I disconnect and then connect later on? It might work.
Okay, so what we'll do, Norris, are you with me?
I'm here.
All right, can we go into a breakout? How do you want to do it? I'm gonna have to come back to Mr. Lopez Sandoval. Would you like to go into a breakout room for the final person or do something different?
We can do that. to get it
Okay,
over.
and then that'll give Ms. Fernandez enough time to maybe join us. So, if we can put, courtroom 2, who's the attorney? Is it Mr. McLean?
That's correct.
Okay, courtroom 2, Mr. McLean and the Spanish interpreter into breakout room. For the rest of us, we will be in recess until they return.
Oh, she's
Listo.
Judge, she
Okay.
just logged on.
This is Ms. Hernandez.
Yes.
Señora Hernández,
Very
Sí.
good. Can you raise your right hand for me, ma'am?
¿puede levantar la mano derecha, por favor?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Usted jura que la declaración que va a dar hoy ante este juzgado es la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hands down. What would you like to tell the court?
Muy bien. ¿Qué le quiere decir a este juzgado?
Quiero decirle al juzgado que quiero retirar los cargos que hay en la persona de Sandoval.
Well, I want to let this court know that I want to withdraw the charges that are pending against Mr. Sandoval.
Has this ever happened before?
¿Esto ha sucedido antes?
No, es la primera vez. No es violento conmigo. Él es tranquilo, no sé qué le pasó ese día.
No, it's the first time. He's never done this before. He's actually very calm. I don't know what happened that day. It's the first time.
Are you afraid?
¿Usted le teme a él?
No.
No.
Would you like him back in your household?
¿Quiere que él regrese a la casa?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Hernandez.
Muy bien, gracias por estar acá, señor Hernández.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Okay. As such, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Por tal, voy a asignar una fianza entonces de $3,000 bajo su propia firma, nivel 1.
1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Hernandez, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Tiene que cumplir con un curso de manejo de ira de un día, no puede tener más contacto violento con la señora Hernández y no puede estar en posesión de alcohol, drogas o ningún arma mientras está bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, Mr. Lopez Sandoval.
Buena suerte, señor Sandoval.
Okay. All right, so I guess now we'll go into a breakout room with Mr. McLean, the Spanish interpreter in courtroom 1. The rest of us will be in recess until they return.
Did anyone hear what the bond was for Mr. Sandoval? The amount?
It was a $3,000 SOB through pretrial level 1.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, we're ready.
Okay, are we ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
And who is this?
This is position number 15, Mr. Alex Nunez.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Nunez. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005989G with battery and family violence.
Buenas tardes, señor Núñez. Está acusado en el caso número 24005-989G con violencia doméstica y agresión física.
Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Señor Jackson, ¿hay antecedentes?
Your Honor, he does not have any prior arrests on file. He appears to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Su señoría, él no tiene antecedentes en que podamos ver. Él parece ser que está calificado para una fianza bajo su propia firma.
Your Honor, that's my case.
Su señoría, en mi caso,
On August the 23rd of 2024,
el 23 de agosto de 2024,
at 5150 Cotter Drive, that's Cotter,
en 5150 Carr Drive,
at 11:30 p.m., the victim, Maria Maldonado Disneros,
y la víctima María Maldonado Cisneros a las 11:30 de la noche
called the police to the location.
llamó la policía al lugar.
She was seen to have lacerations on her face, under her mouth, and bruising to her arm.
Parecía que tenía laceraciones en la cara, debajo de la boca y tenía moretones en el brazo.
She reported that the father of her child, Mr. Nunez, had assaulted her because he thought she was cheating.
Ella informó que el padre de su hijo, el señor Núñez, la había agredido porque él pensó que ella le estaba engañando.
The victim was reluctant to provide more information,
La víctima se rehusó a dar más información,
but said that they share a child and they live together.
pero dijo que tienen un hijo juntos y viven juntos.
Our office has been in touch with the victim today.
Nuestra oficina ha contactado a la víctima hoy.
She reports that she and the defendant have 3 children, all under the age of 10.
Y ella informa que ella y el acusado tienen 3 hijos, 2 menores a 10.
That there's no history in their house of domestic violence and that she is not afraid.
No tienen antecedentes de violencia doméstica en la familia y ella no teme por su seguridad.
She reports that she was desiring a cooling off period, not for the defendant to be arrested.
Ella informó que quería un periodo para que se calmaran las ánimas, pero no que al acusado lo arrestaran.
And so the state's asking for a $2,000 SOB through pretrial, no violent contact, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and some anger management, please, Your Honor.
Y entonces la fiscalía está pidiendo una fianza de $2,000 aseguradas, no tenga contacto violento, no puede estar consumiendo drogas, alcohol y no puede poseer un arma y cursos de manejo de ira, por favor, su señoría.
And if Mrs. Maria Maldonado Disneros is on the line, we would sound for her.
Y si está la señora María Maldonado Cisneros en la línea, la estamos llamando.
Ms. Lopez, if you can sound for Miss Maria for me, please.
Señora María Cisneros.
It doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Bueno, al abogado.
If you're addressing us, you are on mute, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, if my iPhone loses power, I can sign in visually with my laptop and speak on speakerphone on the jail courtroom telephone. But hopefully that won't happen yet. Your Honor, we agree with the state.
Muy bien, su señoría, si se corta la llamada, puedo conectarme a otro dispositivo, pero nosotros estamos de acuerdo con la fiscalía.
I have been a father who is easy to get hold of. He works with his father.
Hablé con el padre, que es fácil contactarlo, ya que trabajan juntos.
We'll do our best to explain more of this to his dad, who, although it's statistically unlikely because of the difference in generations, his dad has more English than he does.
Vamos a intentar explicarle esto al padre, que de hecho poco común que por diferencia el padre habla más inglés que él.
I've found it very easy to communicate with his dad, and I think his dad can make sure all the nuances are explained to him.
He encontrado que es muy fácil hablar con el padre y el padre le puede explicar todos los temas a él.
That's all.
Eso es todo.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Muy bien, va a ser una fianza de $2,000 que se puede hacer bajo su propia firma por servicios de libertad condicional nivel 1. Tiene que hacer un curso de manejo de ira, no puede tener más contacto violento con la supuesta víctima, no puede consumir alcohol ni droga y no puede estar en posesión de un arma de fuego mientras está bajo fianza.
Okay, good luck to you, Mr. Nunez.
Buena suerte, señor Núñez.
Okay, do we need the interpreter for any other cases this afternoon?
That should be it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lopez. We appreciate you jumping on with us this afternoon. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. Goodbye.
You have a good day also. Thank you.
So all we have left is breakout 21 and the waiver 23.
Okay, and as far as the breakout goes, so do we need to just go off the YouTube, or do you actually want to go into a breakout room?
It makes no difference to me, Your Honor. It's just the MH situation, I believe.
Why don't we go off of the YouTube?